Hi guys, Richard Retro here, back with another pickups video. So I'm going to do two little videos. One of them's going to be video games, and the other is going to be board games. So I went to not retro gaming, but a board gaming event called UK Games Expo. It's in the Midlands, by the NEC at the Hilton Hotel. So I drove up from Cornwall to Birmingham, and a couple of friends came along with me. And it was really such a good weekend, such a brilliant weekend. I love my board games, you can see in the back. I spent some money on board games as well, so just like with my retro game in it, I spent quite a lot of money, but also traded stuff in. So obviously when I was up there, there's a few retro game shops that I know. I decided to go one of them, the closest one. So we drove up, what time did we leave? We left about 1, took 3.5 hours to get there. And the motorway was just doing my head in, driving along. So he's basically doing 70 all the way up there, and then you're like, the average speed check, 50 miles an hour. And I'm like, for God's sake, you do like 70 cruising, 70 plus 10, but cruising along, enjoying it, playing random music and listening to your local radio stations. It's quite funny. You got so down here in Cornwall, we've got like 4 really, like Radio 1, just a local heart. There's some like Pirate FM, Inbred FM, but up there you guys got about an extra like 5 or 6. So it was really good drive, but just the bloody roadworks. Average speed check, 1 lane. I'm thinking I haven't seen one workman. So we went through. I think there's one before Bristol, then there was one after Bristol, then there was a couple more. Just on the outside of Birmingham, before you go on the M42. Then there was like another random one. It was just doing my head in. I'm like, no, average speed check. And there's probably a good 20 to 30 miles of these average speed check roadworks. And we saw two workmen. I'm thinking, what the fuck? You actually going to do any work or what? It's like ridiculous. It's bloody ridiculous. I'm like, you going to do any work or what? But so we got up there in good time. We stayed at the Premier Inn, which is just like on the other side of the NEC. So we were sort of like there. The NEC's here, and the actual Hilton Hotel was there. So we got there, parked up. They asked us. Well, first of all, I pulled up, and so when we go, and then one of the stewards. So obviously, it must have been a busy night. I think either the Eagles or someone was playing at the NEC. So there was quite a lot of cars there, and the steward came up to me and goes, "Hello, madam. How long are you staying for?" And I was like, "What? I'm not a madam." I was like, "Do you see how I got big man moves a sign?" And he was like, "Sorry about that. How long are you staying?" Like, 3 nights. So he sort of let us in the main car park where everyone was sort of staying one night was just on the random grass verge. So we got there, paid for parking, and just had a few beers on the Thursday night. And then on we went to the actual event on Friday. It was on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I just really enjoyed it. Friday's just mainly games day, so it's not the full show day. It's just loads of tables set up. There's a little like board game library where there's about 100 board games, all different board games, and you go in, just sign it out for free. Doesn't cost you anything, and then you can just take the board game to a spare table, read the rules, and just game on. So it was just like that all day. I had a few beers. But there also was the bring and buy, which was brilliant. Bring and buy. So you can take any of your board games. It was £1 for like a sheet, and the sheet had like 10 slots. So you paid £1 to check it in, and 10% goes to charity. So I took 20 board games up there. So it only cost me £2 to sign them in, and to sell them. And then obviously they put them out on the tables. But there's also everyone else doing it as well. So you have this table times 10. Loads of people board games, and there'll be like brand new board games. Normally retail like £50. Some were like £20. So you just pick them up. I've picked up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've picked up about 10 or 11. And when do all the contents, and every part's there. So there's even some extras. So even some I've picked up a couple of Kickstart games. So I'll explain that more in the next video. But it was a really good event all weekend, and before we went there on the Friday, we went to the local game shop, and it's called, I think it's Entertainment Zone? Entertainment Zone? Yeah, Entertainment Zone. I'll just have a look. Completely forgot what they're called, but it's a massive yellow sign. Okay, let's look at photos. Photo stream. Let's get this. No, Entertainment World. Yeah, Entertainment World. I think it's on the Coventry Road. So yeah, I've spoken to the guy a few times. Obviously, when I go on my retro road trips, I've seen him. Yeah, so I took some games up the trade in, and I found it because I've got a massive collection, 4,000 or 5,000 games. I found it struggling to find games that I didn't have. Price wise, he was just, I would say, eBay, but sort of take away the fees. So yeah, so good prices, but yeah, still expensive. But you can easily go there, see it in hand, and buy it for a little bit less than eBay prices, minus like the fees. So still good, and I've got pretty good trading as well. So I picked up 1, 2, 3, 4. I picked up 4 games. I thought I picked up more than that. But just games I needed for collection. I just had mainly my rubbish, so I picked up a Amok, some Saturn game. I haven't actually seen it before, so yeah. So hopefully it says 2-player head-to-head or team missions, so I'm looking forward to playing that. Also, Last Bronx. Street Fighter Action. Hits the Sega Arcade. You're using Sega Saturn, using the console's High Revolution. Not Street Fighter, Street Fighting. Man, I haven't seen that before, so I picked that up. Poseidon Wars 3D. This is one of the ones I was missing from my Master System collection. I can't even pronounce this. Sangreal. Sorry, I haven't really shown him that well. Sangreal. Poseidon Wars 3D. Last Bronx. And Amok. He also had some manuals there, and I said, you got any manuals? He goes, here you go, and you can basically take what you want. So he had some like Mario, like All Stars and Mario World, but I've already got them, so it's just better to leave them for someone else. But I got a Magic Sword, Castlevania Game Boy, and Choplifter. So yeah, so that was about it really. I took quite a lot of games up there to trade in. I've got average price trading on them. Not as good as PlayNation like the week before, but yeah, it's still a good guy. And yeah, so definitely Entertainment World, definitely recommending going up there. So take your games up there. They also do like Star Wars toys, Master Toys, comics, vinyls for fun, just anything collectible. So yeah, he's a really good lad, he is. So glad I went up there, traded some stuff in. Yeah, so that's about it really. That's all the tales for the retro. No, I may as well just carry on with the board game one, do it all in one. Sod it. Yeah, like I said, on the Friday was mainly board game day. So I went to the Bring and Buy and I picked up quite a lot. Yeah, I traded them, yeah, I sold had for sale 20 games. I sold 10. So I brought 10 back with me, but luckily the 10 I sold were big board games, so I didn't have much room for any new board games. But these are the ones I picked up. It was quite busy, it was absolutely crazy. On the Friday it was much quieter, but it was mainly people who were staying at the hotel, the Hilton Hotel, so they were able to bring their games and then check them in. So there was quite rare games or hard to find games, or out of print games, or expensive games, going really cheap. So the Friday was I really enjoyed Friday, but I love my big space games, so I picked up Exodus Centauri. And most of these have been really well looked after. Half of them are not punched, which basically means they're all still in their little cardboard cutouts. But most of them's been all bagged up really well. I think this one normally goes for about 40 quid, but I got it for 20 quid. See how much I've actually spent. See how much I actually spent. Okay, I haven't even tallied it up yet. Okay, so that one's 20 quid. I built up Elder Sign. I just feel it's a quicker version of Madness of Mansions. So this is for your Spy Fantasy Flight games. It's a nice quick board game. It's 1 to 8 players. And yeah, you have to like tackle missions, roll the dice, you got your own character. It's a cooperative game. And that was 20 quid. 20 plus 20 equal 40. Yeah, I picked up quite a lot. Story Wars, this is just a quick card game. It's only like 10 to 20 minutes, but it's 3 to 8 players. So you just got all the cards there. Quickly deal them out. And that was £5. Right, that was £5. Oh, that bloody nut. I put everything all nice and neatly. Spent ages doing it, and then I'm going to take everything out, aren't I? Okay. If you haven't seen, I've got Twilight Imperium here. This was like £70 that I picked up about a month ago. But it's also like a board game version of it. So this is Twilight Imperium Rex, the Final Days of an Empire. Well, this is basically, most board games are actually like reworks of old board games. So there used to be Dune, the board game. So they basically just, they must have lost the rights to the, Fantasy Flight Games must have lost the rights to Dune, which happens quite a lot. They, especially with like film orientated games. They lose the right to it, but they release it under a different name. So this is what Rex is. Final Days of the Empire. That was either 20 or 25. I just put 25. Too many board games. Okay, Eclipse. I picked up Eclipse. It's another like space kind of game. It's just a quicker version of Twilight Imperium. Hopefully it is, but yeah. But this is really well looked after. The guy had it in the queue was obviously. You'd like queue up with all your board games, then you sign them in, and then sooner when you sign over, they like give them to someone else to put out on the table. But I literally stood where I can see everyone putting all the board games in, and I saw this one and thought, oh, this is the one that I wanted. So I had a list of 10 games, and I picked up 8 of them that I wanted. Oh, that's my phone going off. Oh, wrong way up. But yeah, so it doesn't normally come with these little bags, but these bags keep the tokens, the dice bags. All bagged up as well, which is really good. Oh, I can't believe the bag was upside down. My phone's going off. And you can always tell that someone's looked after it, because it's got a little like dice, like a dice case to keep your dice in, but he's actually put the tokens in, so that's really good. So you can always tell when someone's looked after something. So in really good condition, or you got these extra little plastic bags with all the tokens and that kept. Oh, I can't be bothered with this. I think we're going to play that later on anyway. And I paid £38 for that one because, yeah, I paid £38. Hopefully that's right. Yep. Yeah, I paid £38 for that one. And that one normally retails for about 50. So a bit chuffed to get that one. It's a really good condition. Like I said, it's got random dice bags in it. Okay, my next one. I actually picked this up new from the trade hall. And that's Alien Frontiers. There was only one at the Bring and Buy, and that was £25, but when I sort of went to grab it, some obese guy with his man boobs hanging out just grabbed it. I'm like, no! Or was it a staff member? Was that one of the other games? Oh, there's so many different games that actually, yeah. Actually, I think one of the staff members behind it took it, and one of the other games that I picked up, I finally picked up. There's lots of man boobs. So yeah, so I got this one new, and that was £33. I can't even bother to tally it up, but it's going to be expensive. Oh, my phone. Okay, it's another space game called Mostly Harmless. I thought this was an expansion, or it says an expansion on it, but when I actually picked up and looked at it, it had the main game in it as well. Or is it the main game and the expansion? So yeah, I always saw was like the main game cards in there. So I thought I'd take a risk, pick it up, and this was like 15 or 20 quid. And when I've got it home now, or just had a look at the contents and that, there's loads of extra cards and stuff in there. And it looks like it's the expansion and the actual original game. So really chuffed with that one. Mostly Harmless. I'm sure that's off something. I can't remember. Okay, Android. Another fighting Fantasy Flight game. There's another one called Netrunner, and that's a card game with like 2 players. But I thought I'd get this one, and this is like must be 2 or 3 players. No, 2 to 5 players it is. Just another board game, and yeah, I went crazy with the board games. And this one's in pretty good condition as well. I remember on the Friday I picked up about £150 worth of games, I think it was, and I'm carrying them out to the car. There are lots of random games I picked up as well that I've never seen before. Isadora. So it's English on the back. No, it's not. It's German. I think it's like a German game. So I picked up the German game. It's another fantasy, not I keep saying the wrong ones. Yeah, Fantasy Flight Games. It's another good game. So I haven't played it yet, but it looks good. But it's also got an English manual, so someone's actually taken the time to actually print out and actually do a proper English manual to go with it. And it's in really good condition, all in the bags. On a Saturday, I did see someone play this actually, because you can walk around and see so many of these games from like the actual the board game library being played. You can either play them before, but when you do see a game at a good price, you just got to pick it up, you know. Like Eclipse, so I got it for 38 quid, but I didn't. There was other copies of Eclipse there all weekend, but they were like 45 quid, which is only like £5 to £10 lower than retail. So I'm happy to get that one. Okay, retro game themed, I guess, and it's called Pixel Lincoln. I'll show you the box. I hadn't seen this game before, and there is a couple of like sort of like video game themed board games I wanted, but a couple of my friends are going, so I'm like, damn it, like Boss Monster, that's quite video game themed. But this one is video game themed, and when actually, I looked on my mobile, obviously on the 3G, typed it in on eBay, wasn't any, even in America wasn't any, and then I was speaking to some guy later on in the day, and he says, this is the Kickstart version. So it's not actually officially released, and this was actually unplayed, so the Kickstart I think was about 40 to 50 quid, and I picked this up for like 20 quid, 15, 20 quid. So someone must have paid the Kickstarter price and never played it, and all the cards, everything was just all brand new, all the cards were all sealed in it, yeah. And how to explain how to play it. We've played it once, for you video gamers. It's a deck building game, so you start off with like 10 cards, but they're mainly like jump or just like a normal just weapon power 1. And you have to bring out the decks, the cards, and they're different levels. So you make up, there's different monsters, different abilities, and you can make different levels. So you got levels sort of like 1, level 2. And your character goes along and fights each level, and if you can't find a monster, you play a card to jump. And if you can defeat it, you play like power cards, and then you slowly build your deck and draw, and when you actually kill some of the monsters, or take some of the treasure cards, if you take the treasure cards, you can put that in your deck. So it's really good, and when you get to the end, when you get all the way to here, you have to stop, and then you go all the way back here, and then you deal out more cards to create the level. And you've got a deck here, so the deck slowly empties to create the level. So it is sort of like video game themed, and you can go from one level to the other. The second level will be like have harder monsters, and you have like there's a couple of decks are called like level 1 deck, level 2, and if you can see, they look like a Nintendo game. So instead of like the Nintendo seal, it says like official Pixel Lincoln seal. Whereas when it says Pixel Lincoln, actually in like where the Nintendo logo would go, then the entertainment system. So they look like proper like Nintendo box games. But yeah, there is a few games out there that are starting to become video game themed. Like Boss Monster, that's a good one, but I don't have that. But yeah, I might go in depth with some of these. So that was a Kickstarter. I had like loads of little Kickstarter extras and stuff. I'm really happy to get that one. Okay. One ball game is another deck building game, War of Honor. I know nothing about this. And this was 20 quid. There was about 4 or 5 copies for like £30, £40, and this was 20 quid, so I thought, oh, I may as well pick it up. And then when I opened it, it's all there. And I had a couple of extra, you can get a couple of extra like booster packs to go in there. So, we never played it. It did have £30 on it. But like I said, at the bring and buy, you take your games in on the. I took my games on the Friday, but you can still check them on the Saturday and Sunday. And if they don't sell, you can actually reduce the prices on them. So on the Saturday, I went in there and collected about £80 worth. So I sold £80 worth of games. I sold about 4 or 5 games, And I thought, I may as well just reduce some of the others, because obviously some of my games were either too expensive or like too cheap. There's one game I priced up for 45 quid, because I did it like £10 less than eBay. But there was another 6 copies of the same game for like 10 to 15 quid, so I thought, I must have overpriced that. So I put it down to like 15 quid. It didn't sell till like the Sunday, because then when everyone left the show, obviously going home, people wanted to go in the Bring and buy something before they left. Okay, another random game. Utapita. And this one is actually, this was, about 10 quid. And this one is unpunched. There was 3 or 4 of these copies, and I think I picked up the unpunched one. So the tokens are still all in the things. It's new, never been played with. Still in the bags. Which is brilliant, because like, there was so many games that were just like new. So that was like new. Pixel Lincoln was new. Oh, okay. What my ones was there? I just quickly go get my mobile. My mobile's going off for fun. It's right by the camera. I can smell my food going off. Okay. I keep calling this feline, but it's called Femellini or something. This is like another random German game. And you basically, some traders, you have to go off and take your trade spices and stuff and go to like a new continent, and then, and sell to those guys. And this was once again new and in the punches, but we've actually played it, so. And it came with a really cool badge. Or bag, not badge. I thought it was in German first of all, but I had to go through halfway through the rule book, because the first front of the book was in German. I forgot what else I got. Oh yeah, The Witches, that's like Terry Pratchett. Can't be bothered to show that one. The Witches. I haven't even played it, so. Okay, level 7. There's actually 2 level 7s, so like there's like level 7 Omega Protocol or something called it Escape, but I picked up the wrong one. But still chuffed to get this one. It's another like 15 to £20 game. I worked out I probably spent easily over around 250 on games when you think about it, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, easy around £250 on board games, but I sold £160 worth, so really my budget was 100 quid, and I think I went over my budget by like 30 quid or so, but mainly because of this jobby. And that was StarCraft. StarCraft the board game. Look at the size of that bitch. Massive manual. There's loads of pieces and figures. About 6 factions. Yeah, so really chuffed for getting StarCraft. Okay, a bit of a story to tell about StarCraft. People were just like checking the games and that in. But in behind, one of the guys who obviously was at the Bring and Buy, who was volunteering, he was actually selling the StarCraft. It was in like a Morrison's bag in behind. I'm like, oh, how much you want from that, mate? And the guys were like, oh, he's not actually here at the moment. He's volunteering in another section, and he doesn't know how much to sell it for. And I'm like, oh, because normally the cheapest one on eBay that I found is 120 quid, and there hasn't been many on eBay at all, and it's a really expensive game. It's out of print. Like I said, like previously before, Twilight Imperium, we think it might be just Twilight Imperium, just an up-to-date version of that one. Because obviously that one's licensed by Bizarre Entertainment. So they might have just repackaged it, Twilight Imperium, and put it in there. It looks like the same kind of game, but must be different mechanics. And they've updated it, so hopefully that's what they've done. But yeah, it looks really good. Yeah, so I've been asking for it. I went into Bring and Buy about 6 times. Every time I had a break from like the other board games, I went to get some food. I popped in and kept on buying more board games, and I kept on asking, how much is that? And he goes, oh, it's not here at the moment. And the guys were probably getting a bit annoyed with me every time I was going there. And he goes, look, listen, how much are you willing to offer for this? And I'm like, 70 quid. Because I knew it was 120 quid. I thought, if I offer 70 quid. So I put my name down and £70. I'm like, what happens if he wants £10 for it? Are you going to tell him that I want £70? He goes, no, trust us, we'll tell him, like, obviously you're interested in it and how much he wants for it. And if it's, like, below or up to your budget, we'll sell it definitely to you. And then they put it in the bag behind, and then everyone else came asking for it. They kind of looking at it saying, oh, how much is StarCraft? How much is StarCraft? They're like, oh, it's reserved. I'm thinking, oh, thank God they were saying that. And after a few beers and obviously more board gaming hours, we left on was it Friday night actually? Yeah, this was all on Friday. Friday, about 12 o'clock, we went back to the hotel. And I was just walking past the volunteer guys. They must have obviously been out board gaming and that as well in the other areas of the hotel. And they said, oh, it's within your budget. I'm like, how much? He goes, oh, 50 quid. I'm like, oh, thank God, 50 fucking quid. I was like, that's brilliant. Well happy. So yeah, so it picked up for 50 quid. So I handed my money over the next day. We got there, had my money over the next day. And then you had everyone, like, fucking, everyone just giving me evils, mate. I was picked up for 50 quid. They're like, oh, how much is that, mate? I'm like, oh, 50 quid. He goes, oh, I see them all the time. They go for sale all the time on eBay for like 40 quid. You paid over the price for it. And I'm like, oh, you're having a laugh. I'm like, you're having a laugh, mate. Hello there. Wait 5 minutes. I'm just doing a video. My mates are here. Yeah, so I'm like, you're having a laugh. But yeah, so I'm really happy to get it. This guy was like jealous. He's like, oh, I bet all the pieces are broken. I'm like, looks good to me, mate. And the guy who actually sold it, he was actually volunteering on that Saturday at the Bring and Buy, and he was like, yeah, it's all there. So yeah, so I'm into my board games now. So retro gaming wise, obviously you see I haven't been spending much money on retro games, mainly because now I've A-to-Z'd everything. I know exactly what I want. I've basically got everything of what I want. I can play what I want. And there's only a few little, obviously, just randomly trading in stuff just to get more games. But I'm really getting into board games lately. And yeah, just like really enjoying it. So yeah, so cheers guys. If you have any thoughts or any, want to get in the board game, and it's just as fun as retro gaming at the moment. And I've got so many board games at the moment. No, board games, I've got hours and hours to play. So yeah, car boot wise, this is going to be another shit year, When it's like a bank holiday or the first week or like some holidays, I'll go to car boots and that. But the weather is just shit. 1 minute it's raining, then next minute it's pissing down with rain. But yeah, so hopefully we get into more car boots, making more videos. And yeah, trying to pick up some more bargains, mainly to go and trade for other games. So yeah, cheers guys, please leave a comment down below and just say hi, and yeah, cheers.